Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome aboard today's flight. United Airlines 1976 service from here in Houston over to Washington Dulles. We're flying the flight vector 767-400ER. I hope you enjoy. We're now in the cockpit of the 767 here. We can go ahead and get our altimeter set here, 2987, and we'll start programming the MCDU. KIAH to KIAD and 01. Put that into company route. Oh, KIAH-IAD. KIAD. There we go. Now that'll load in our route. There we go. Today we're going to be on the Lucrib 8 departure. Or, no, Lyric 8 departure. Let me find it here. There we go. Lyric 8. And we're going to be off of runway 15 left here at Houston. Our transition is Orth. We can go ahead and go to route, and we'll activate it. Go ahead and go to our arrival at Dulles. Dulles is landing the ones today, so we'll be on one right. And we are going to be on the Gibbs 4 arrival from HVQ. I believe that's Charleston. And we don't have a transition, I believe. What I can do is I'll come up to AviTab here and check if there's any transition. I think CSN would make sense for where we're coming in on this star. I'll just check though. Approach ILS 1 right. And I believe CSN is like the extended... CSN's from out there. So Mosby... Yeah, no, we won't do CSN. We'll just go from Mosby. So no transition on the ILS. We can hit execute. We'll go to legs. We have vectors there. We'll get rid of the discontinuity between Charleston and Nashville. And then we'll go direct from Mike J to Mosby. Alright, perfect. That's all put in there for us. We can go and do our performance init as well as our IRS alignment. I already had them going for a little while, so they're already aligned. And we can go to index, perf init, and get all of that. Reserves, we're bringing 1.0. Cost index today is 186. We're going to be at a cruise altitude of 370. And our cruise winds are 307 at 4.3. That's in there now. We can go back to index, and we will go to takeoff. We're going to be using flaps 15 today for takeoff out of Houston. We can go ahead and get the CG trim is going to be 3.2. We can go, or no, hydraulics aren't running yet, so we won't set that yet. Go ahead and get our speed select on. Oh, actually, I haven't loaded the plane yet, so those V speeds and performance numbers are going to be incorrect. We can go here to ground, passengers. How many passengers are we bringing on board today? We're bringing 287. According to SimBrief. 277 is the max that this plane, the flight factor can carry, so we'll go with that. Cargo weight, we are bringing 15,785. Then our fuel weight is 42,260. And we can go ahead and optimize the CG. And we can go ahead and hit load. Once that loads, we can redo all of our performance, because that is incorrect. Oh, there we go. So we'll go back to perf. Wait for that to settle. Or no, I forgot. These numbers automatically change. So we don't have to worry about that, we just have to worry about redoing the takeoff stuff. Because all of these numbers are going to change. Alright, there we go. Flaps 15, CG's changed. And we'll go speed select. Yeah, there we go. New speeds. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Speeds are in. Speed select off. And we are good on that front. Ooh, winds. Runway winds are 165 at 11. Put that in. There we go. And, ooh, outside air temperature. Let me get that real quick. Outside air temperature is 25. Pretty hot out here today in Houston. That's pretty typical. Alright, we're almost ready to go here, so we'll go ahead and get the APU started on up. And we can call for our pushback as well.
Ground to cockpit, please show me where you
We're
want
going
to
to
go.
push this way, because 1.5 is going to be off to our left-hand side.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Go ahead and set our top altitude here up to 37,000. We don't have ATC on the VATSIM network today, so we don't have to worry about any of that. That's put in, and our... Actually, I need to set V2 plus 15. Let me just check. So 155, so that's going to be 160, 170 is V2 plus 15. 170 set. And tow's getting hooked up. We can go ahead and get rid of our ground handling here. We can go ahead and get the APU gen on. Get rid of all the ground handling and close up all the doors.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
And airplane, close up the doors. We'll go up here to SAM. Get our jetway disconnected. There's that. And we're waiting for him to do his thing. Sounds like he's closing his little grabby arms. Yep, and then we're about to get lifted up, and then we will be ready for push and start. There's the lift.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
And we can go ahead and kill the parking brake and turn our beacon light on.
Pushback, and you may start engine.
We're cleared for engine start. We'll go ahead and get the fuel pumps on. Make sure the packs are off, APU bleed is on, and get the right engine set to ground start. We're going to wait until it's at the purple tick. And there's the purple tick. We can give it fuel. Looks like a good light. Yep. Good light, engine's coming up. And it'll stabilize itself out. Right engine's good. We can move to the left. Ground start. Wait for that to get to the purple tick. There's 20% N2. Give it fuel. And it's coming on up. And our right engine's stabilizing right around where we want it, just a bit above 60 on the N2. And we'll wait for the left engine to come on up as well. We're still getting our pushback here out of Houston. We'll come down here and get our altimeter set to TARA. Nope. Where's the little click spot? There we go. And there's TARA, and we'll set some random squawk code in here. There we go. 5465. Right, both engines are now stabilized. We can go ahead and get our engine hydraulic pumps on. Our engine bleeds can come on. We'll turn the APU bleed off. We'll get the packs on. And we'll get the APU gen disconnected. Set the parking brake for him.
Disconnecting tow, standby.
And we'll go ahead and get the APU shut down. Once he's disconnected, we'll wait for his hand signal, and then we'll be ready to taxi up to 15 right. Let me just pull up the taxi chart real quick, make sure I know where I'm going. I'm pretty sure I do, though. Kiah Airport. And we are going out this way to Whiskey Whiskey, so we'll take Romeo Bravo and then out to Whiskey Fox, take Whiskey up, and then Whiskey Whiskey.
Ground to cockpit.
Oh,
Please show me where you want to go.
that was the wrong button. Just make sure. Ooh, he reconnected me there. That was not the plan. Alright, we're now approaching runway 15 left here at Houston. We're going to go ahead and get ready for takeoff. Get all of our landing lights on. We can get the strobe lights on. We don't need wing lights today. Packs are set, overhead panel looks good. Auto throttle is armed, V2 plus 15 speed is set, top altitude is set, and our TRS is set to takeoff. Flaps are set for departure, and auto brakes are rejected takeoff. We are ready to go out of Houston here, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and line up, and then toga. Alrighty, here. Go ahead and get lined up. This thing's a long plane, so we're going to roll it out here just a little bit and then start our turn. Not quite as long as the A340, but it's getting up there with some of the 777 variants, the 300s. Alright, there we go. We are lined up on the runway. We can go ahead and go and accelerate the throttles up to 40%. There's 40 and TRS. Engine's coming up. Thrust stable. Toga. Airspeed's alive. $60 knots. $80 knots cross-checked. Nose is coming up. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Alrighty, ladies and gents, we just came through 10,000 here. We can go ahead and get the landing lights off. And everything's looking good. Our TRS is set, and our plane is accelerating up to climb speed through 10,000. I'll see you guys later in the flight. Alrighty guys, we're coming up here on our descent. We're going to go ahead and set our bottom altitude here down to, I believe, 3,000 it is. And then we'll go ahead and start preparing the plane for arrival into Dulles. So we'll get the chart pulled up for the ILS. And approach, ILS localizer 1 right. ILS is going to be, let's see, no, we do it through here, I believe. Navrad, there we go. Oh, ILS is already set automatically. Perfect. Decision altitude, we're gonna do it radio, and it is radio minimum's at 200. Those are already set. And I'll go ahead and just do our performance. Approach ref, we're going to be doing flaps 30, so I'll put that in there, and that's all good. And other than that, we're all set up and ready to go. I will see you further in the descent onto Dulles. You guys, we're now on the downwind leg here into Dulles. I'm going to switch over to manual speed control here. And we'll switch off, or we'll switch to vertical speed down at 500 feet a minute, and then we'll switch manual speed on. We're going to slow down to 210 knots. Once we get below that speed, we're going to put in flaps 1. That will deploy our slats. Coming out here to Mike J, and then we have a turn in to Mosby. Radios are already set, altimeters are set and cross-checked. Auto brakes are set to 1. We have our flight controls page pulled up there. Trim, I believe, for landing was 4. So we'll set that once we're off of the autopilot. Auto throttle is still on autopilot, still engaged, and we're looking good for landing here. Landing lights are on. We're descending here, and then we're going to be 3,000 at 3,000 at Mosby is the plan. So we're just going to continue down at 500 feet a minute. We'll just keep that constant. We're below that flaps up speed, so we can go ahead and put slats 1 in. Or slats 1. Yeah, we'll put in slats 3, so that'll deploy slats fully. No flaps yet, though. Once we start this turn, I'm going to slow speed to 180, and we will put in flaps 15. And that's once we're out of that turnout right there. This is going to be a pretty sharp turn. We'll see if the plane can execute it. If not, it'll hook us out. But I think it can do it. Let's see what the little... Oh, yeah. According to that little trajectory thing, we'll definitely be able to do it. Coming through 4,500, just popping out of the bottom of the clouds here. So we will start to slow speed. We'll bring it down to 180. And once we're below 195 knots, we can drop flaps 15. There we go, we're looking good. Keeping it coming down. Go ahead and arm approach mode. And it should start to turn us out. There we go. Might overshoot just a tad. Should be good here. Yep, we're looking good. We can go ahead and drop flaps 15. And flaps 15's coming out. Once we get to Mosby, we'll slow speed to 160. And then once we are on a 7.5 mile final, we will slow to final approach speed, which today is going to be 145 knots at flaps 30. And we're landing 1 right at Dulles today. Let's go ahead and brief the missed approach procedure. So, in the case that we have a missed approach at Dulles off the runway, we will fly heading 060, and then intercept 051 radial from the RMAL VOR. So I don't have a manual nav radio, so in case we do have to shoot that missed approach, as we're on the go, I'll go ahead and go in here to the nav radio and switch over to the RMAL and set our course in there for the missed approach, and then we fly out 051 to 20 DME to blitz, circle at blitz, and then get vectored back around for the approach. And other than that, we're all good. Yep, approach is briefed, so we're good to go. And we're almost to Mosby here. Go ahead and set our range to 20. Mosby is on about a 15-mile final for runway 1 right here at Dulles. And there's Mosby. We can go ahead slow speed to 160. And at below, at or below that, which looks about 163, we'll go ahead and drop flaps 20. And we are now on final approach for Dulles. We're on about a 10-mile final here. Once we get the glide slope, we can go ahead and drop the gear. Localizers captured. And we're below that speed, we'll go ahead and drop flaps 20. Flaps 20 is set. Ooh, getting a little bit slow on the speed there. Auto throttle's kicking in to help us back up. There we go, perfect. And the glide slope's coming in here. We'll get ready to drop the gear. And there's a 10-mile final. Still in the clouds here, no visual on the airport quite yet. And just edging for that glide slope. There it is, drop the gear. And the runway is about 8 miles, so we'll slow to that final approach speed of 145 knots, and we will drop flaps 30. Alright, starting to come out of the bottom of the clouds here. There's the airport runways in sight. Go over and take over the autopilot on about a 5-mile final. Don't need to do it quite yet. Let the plane fly itself in for a little while. Coming up here on about a 6-mile final. I did just install X World America by SimHaven, and with this ortho photo, it's looking awesome. I am using Auto Ortho, which is a cool little tool that injects the satellite scenery, and it only takes up about 100 gigabytes compared to, you know, downloading each individual ortho tile, which takes terabytes upon terabytes. So this is just 100 gigs, and it streams in those tiles to your sim instead of having to download every single one. And as soon as it's done loading that tile and you're out of that radius, it deletes it, doesn't take up any extra space on your computer at all. Alright, we're on about a 5-mile final here. I can go ahead and disengage the autopilot. It doesn't have the button on there. We can just click on that. Autopilot's disengaged. And we're hand flying in on the approach now. I'll go ahead and disconnect auto throttle here in a minute as well. XP12 is just looking better and better with every one of these updates. This next update, they're updating the clouds and the lighting engine, which is just going to look absolutely phenomenal. We're also seeing a lot of new third-party aircraft coming to the Sim X-Crafts, as you saw last video, release their Embraers. We have Flight Factor coming with their 777-V2. That's going to be awesome to see. It's going to be a really awesome aircraft. From what I've seen so far, they've been putting really high level of detail into it. This aircraft is actually kind of a test of their 777 systems, because the 764 does have the same PFD and MFD as the 777. You can go ahead and disarm the auto throttle. And so this aircraft they were kind of using as a test bed for the new avionics. I did see at FS Expo this weekend, or last weekend, that Flight Factor was demoing the 777 there, so that was pretty cool. And we're just coming over the airport here. There's 500. A little bit high. Drop it down. Speed's looking good. And dropped a little low as I pitched that nose down. Keep that speed up. Ooh, we are right of center line. Correct that out. There we go. We're looking good. 50 over the threshold. Start to retard the throttles. Perfect. Reversers. And we'll switch to manual braking. And reversers closed. Make it off here. I hit those brakes pretty hard just because I wanted to get off by Charlie terminal right here, because that's where we're going to. We're going into Charlie 5 today. Speed brakes retracted will bring the flaps up. We can get our left and right wing lights off, keep the nose gear light on for taxi. Position light can come off, and we'll go ahead and get the APU started up. Auto brakes can come off. And awesome landing there into Washington Dulles. We're just going to taxi straight ahead here and make a left into the terminal. We're parking Charlie 5, so I believe it's the second gate off of the end of the Charlie terminal here at Dulles. And flaps are still coming up. Speed brakes are retracted. Just make sure I got everything. Yep, we're looking good. This Dulles scenery is the Nimbus scenery. Unfortunately, Nimbus does not use SAM for their jetways and stuff, so we will be using AutoGate, which I don't like AutoGate as much just because it doesn't connect to second doors of these heavy aircraft, and it's just not as nice as having the SAM interface. The 767-400 here by Flight Factor doesn't have a SAM ground handling configuration, so I'm just using the JAR ground handling, which works fine for me. It's cheaper and not quite as nice of models on the ground vehicles, unfortunately. And we'll make a left here on Delta and go into the terminal. There we go. There's Delta. Give it a little throttle because it's getting a little sluggish around that turn. There we go. Alrighty, there's Charlie 1, Charlie 3, and Charlie 5. We're going into Charlie 5 today. Tonight, not today. That was a mixture of today and tonight. Tonight. Alright, there's Charlie 5. We'll start to slow it down. Slow down a bit too much there. The brakes are grabby. Get a little bit of throttle, keep it below 8 knots or so. And there's Charlie 5. We got our little marshaller there waiting for us. Start making that turn in. One cool thing that this airport has is these little information signs telling you the altimeter and like welcome to Dulles and stuff. Pretty cool. There we go. He's telling us where to go. Coming on in just straight. Kiah-Kiad 2. Ooh, it even tells you where you're going to. Caution jet blast. That's awesome. Ooh. Gosh, this thing's brakes are grabby. Just kind of have to wait until he tells me to stop fully and then stop. There we go. Oh, almost. There we go. Perfect. Parking brake on. And we can go ahead and get the engines shut down. APU. Ooh, that was close. AP generator's on. Beacon light can come off. Taxi light can come off. And we're all set. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the video today. I hope you enjoyed our flight over to Dulles here. If you enjoyed, give us a like and comment, and even a subscribe if you're feeling good about yourself. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.